During the 60s, a famous educational psychologist decided to do some research into how children look at things and what kinds of patterns they scan on familiar objects. One of his team designed what they called an eye camera, while subjects looked at pictures put before them. The eye camera, only a few inches away, shone a fine beam of light at their eyeballs. And took a series of photographs of its reflection. The idea was that these photographs of tiny dots of light would tell the researchers which way the eye had been pointing from instant to instant. Since it was essential that the subjects not move their heads while the photos were being taken, the researchers attached to the subjects' chairs U-shaped bars of flat metal, into which the subjects were supposed to push their heads until the bar clamped them firmly at the temples. Since they might still move their heads up and down a little, another piece of metal was put before them, the bite bar. As subjects pushed their heads as far as they could into the U-shaped clamp, they were also supposed to open their mouths, let the bite bar, covered with cardboard, go in, and then bite down hard onto it so that their heads couldn't move in any direction. But, as anyone who knew anything about children could have predicted, more than half of those who were to be the subjects in the experiments were so frightened by the strange look of the apparatus that they would not go near it. Some of the bolder ones would go so far as to put their heads in the U-shaped clamp, but about half of these could not put the bite bar into their mouths and bite down without gawking. Only a small fraction of the children who were brought in to do the experiment could in fact go through with it. The question then which naturally follows, and one cannot but wonder about the competence of the researchers who failed to ask it, is what in the world could one possibly expect to learn about how children normally look at real objects in the real world from an experiment done under such artificial and threatening circumstances? Scottish psychiatrist R.D. Lang has for years written angrily and eloquently about these kinds of distortions and perversions of the scientific method, as he has seen them in his own lifetime and training and work in medicine and psychiatry. In his recent book, The Facts of Life, in a chapter called The Scientific Method and Us, he writes, "The scientific method is based on tampering with what would have been happening if we were not doing nothing with it. Scientific interference is the most destructive interference. Only a scientist knows how to interfere the most destructively. Love reveals facts, which, without it, remains undisclosed. A heartless intellect can do no other than investigate the hell of its own hellish constructions, by its own hellish instruments and methods, and to describe, in the language of hell, its own hellish conclusions." These strong words are well justified by what Lang tells us in his book, and others write what modern doctors and psychiatrists actually write, say, and do. He later quotes a leading American psychologist as writing, in what was generally judged an extremely important book, "Everything we learn of organisms, leads us to conclude not merely that they are analogous to machines, but that they are machines. Man-made machines are not brains, but brains are very ill-understood varieties of computing machines." Notion, now very popular in leading universities, that organisms, including human beings, are nothing but machines, is for me one of the most mistaken, foolish, harmful, and dangerous of all the many bad ideas at large in our world today. If an idea can be evil, this one surely is.